and gentlemen, welcome to Ron and Fez Show. Well, boys, I reckon this is it.
Time has come to make a choice.
Fasten your seatbelts.
The fastest hour in radio.
Time's a luxury we don't have.
Only on Ron and Fez Show.
Hurry it up, nerd. Hurry it up. Don't wait for me. Come on, let's go.
And now, Ron and Fez.
Welcome to the fastest hour in radio. Right here on WJFK, it's the Ron and Fez Show. New study shows that 2/3 of divorces after the age of 40 are initiated by the wives. Now, isn't it the guys that usually get the midlife crises?
Well, why would it be a crisis if you decide that you're married to the wrong people? Maybe these women just look over and go, you know what? At least half my life is over, and what am I doing with this loser? I think like a lot of drinking problems start to kick in around age 40. Not so much drinking problems, I guess, that weren't there before, but it's no longer as cute and as acceptable. A guy throwing up on his front lawn when he's 20, 22, you can put up with. A guy who's doing that when you're 40, the woman just looks over and goes, this is it, and it's only going to get downhill. I got to get out.
That's when the president, 40 years old, decided, you know what, no more drinking. 40th birthday party, that'll be it. That's the last run. Now, also with this...
He's the greatest president ever. Fez, you forgot 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, he hit his nose, let's say, falling off a bike. Last year, he choked on a pretzel all by himself. I'm sure he's quit drinking.
Now, AARP that did this study, they said, I think they were surprised the fact that they found women initiating these divorces. But at this point, I think before, wasn't it that women wouldn't have the money to go ahead with a divorce?
I have no idea.
That decision?
I mean, maybe, people are allowed to get divorced now. It's not such a big thing. Maybe women, I'm telling you, there's no reason that people should stay married anyway. When people are married for a long time, they're either A, they just happen to luck out, or B, they're just putting up with crap year after year. But if you're in a marriage where you don't hate that person, consider yourself lucky. Not skilled at it, but pretty lucky you've done okay for yourself.
A man sued the promoters of the Atkins diet, saying that the low-carb, high-fat meal plan clogged his arteries, and then he had to undergo a procedure for it.
Yeah.
Now, is the Atkins a killer?
Is this guy dead?
No.
Then no, they're not a killer. This guy's a weirdo anyway. I saw him on, I read the article. He weighed 148 pounds, 8 pounds higher than he wanted to be, so he went on the Atkins diet. Now, if most guys found themselves at 148 pounds, they start saying to themselves, I better put on some weight before I get beat up by women.
I didn't find myself at 148 pounds in the 3rd grade. That would have been nice.
Well, that's because you're so tall. What are you, 5'6"?
5'5", but it says 5'6" on my license.
Well, it should.
John Kerry announced that he would accept the Democratic presidential nomination at his party's convention in July.
That's if he gets it, Fez. We still don't know if this time whether or not he's going to end up beating Kucinich.
Well, that mad dog, Dennis Kucinich, he won't get off the campaign trail. He's relentless.
Well, would you want to go home? He's got no wife, no kids. Why should he go home? Why not just stay out there on the road and join himself?
Because he has a congressional district in Ohio that hasn't been represented in months.
They can't believe that people actually know the name of their congressman. They're all excited about that.
Now, I thought John Kerry was going to wait and raise more money.
Yeah, well, he put that balloon up there, and he saw that people really didn't like the idea. People were going, hey, we do things a certain way. We have a tradition. He checked it out. When people didn't like it, boom, he was right back to home.
So what happens is George W. Bush gets a 5-week head start on him, where George W. can keep spending all the money he wants until he accepts his nomination.
Right. That's why he was thinking about, pushing it back, because the Republicans are going so damn late this year.
And I also think one of the campaign people said this, at least from the Democratic National Committee, they've got no problem with donations coming in. So I think with the approval rating polls for the president and that sort of thing, I don't think they really feel like they're going to be hurting that bad for money that last 5 weeks before the Republican convention.
Yeah, well, you never know, Fez. You never know.
A CBS News poll shows that a John Kerry-John McCain ticket gives John Kerry a 14-point advantage over the president.
If only McCain would do this, this would be so historically huge. Now, in that same poll, it already is saying that Kerry is 8 points ahead of the president. I don't know where that jump came from. And again, Fez, the polls mean nothing to me. I know you live and die by them, but the only poll that really counts is that last one. If not, it's just gossip up to that point.
Some of the other polls, they say John Kerry has caught up to the president in Pennsylvania, another big swing state with a lot of electoral votes.
There's no way the president will win if he loses Pennsylvania, no doubt about that.
And also, one that we talked about was John Edwards. If he's put on the ticket with John Kerry, then it kind of evens up everything in Edwards' own state of North Carolina.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, John Edwards does better in Florida polls on the ticket than either of the senators from Florida. So,
well, people from Florida understand how bad their senators are. They know those people. They don't know Edwards yet. So they're going, hey, let's take a chance on the new cute guy. I think Edwards is going to take a pounding for being a lawyer if he jumps into this thing. I think all the things that people say they like about him now, as soon as the Republicans start to dig up about what, crazy lawsuits, because any lawyer is involved in one, it's going to hurt a little bit.
John Kerry's actually putting John Edwards out on these live auditions where he's sending him out to 4 different campaign rallies just to kind of check the crowd reaction.
Test market?
Yeah, it's a little VP Idol here. And we're going to see how the phones do, the phone-in votes.
Fez, I know that you still have Idol mania. We are not going to talk about American Idol today. Stop the music. It's not going to happen. No more Idol talk and burnout.
But I have withdrawal. I can't believe that Idol isn't on.
I wish your father had withdrawal. I'd be doing this show alone right now.
That's just mean. Former President George Bush 41 says he's confident that George W. will be reelected, even if the economy is weak in November.
Now, which 41 do you mean? The one who was the 41st president or the one that has 41 approval rating? Which 41 are you talking about?
The one who was our 41st president.
Well, I call the other one George Bush 41 now. Of course, I could call his dad George Bush 39.
So this is a president who's saying, a former president who lost an election in a weak economy, saying, you know what, if there's a weak economy, this guy could still get reelected.
What would you like him to say? I'm pretty sure my son's going to fail. Would you feel better about that? Or is that what you expected?
I would have cracked up.
If his own dad would have come out and goes, with this weirdness of why there's a war going on, he keeps looking for the answers in the Bible. I got to tell you this truth. Not only this guy scares me, so do the people around him. He's not going to say that. That's his son. Your dad still thinks you're going to get married. We let him believe. We let him believe. Yeah, Massachusetts.
I'm a catch.
Mm-hmm. In Massachusetts.
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's approval rating in California, it's hit 65%, approaching record highs for any governor in the past 25 years.
He's lovable. So how far back are we going? Jerry Brown?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, 25 years back.
Yeah.
So shouldn't W try to hitch his wagon to this star?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Bush could win California.
Right, but remember when he was staying away from Schwarzenegger during that whole time, wouldn't even take a question on it? So he was acting like, I don't want Schwarzenegger to drag me down.
Now it's going to be like the UN. He's going to come around knocking on the door to Austria saying, hey, I could use some help here if you'd like to make some appearances.
All Arnold wants is to be the president himself. That's all he's looking for. And, this Schwarzenegger approval rating is kind of interesting. He hasn't done anything great. He's just a movie star. If anything, he's cut out any kind of school things. He's cut out any kind of after-work. Everything that he's cut out, and people are going, oh, man, he's so cute. And his wife's adorable. She's half a Kennedy.
He's got gas at, what, $12 a gallon in California? Yeah. And they are still loving him.
Well, he's a movie star. They like movie stars in California. You can't blame him for that.
A new Quinnipiac poll shows that 50% of
what kind of poll?
Quinnipiac.
No, is that
Quinnipiac.
Is that a type of Spanish food that I don't know about? What exactly is that?
It might be a university. It's Quinnipiac. So that poll shows that 50% of those surveyed would rather have a barbecue and drink a beer with President Bush as compared to 39% with John Kerry. Does that sound about right? Half the country would like to have a beer with the president?
I have no idea what exactly you're talking about. I don't understand the question.
This is the likability factor.
I'd rather have a beer and a barbecue with Jim Belushi, but I don't want him to run for president. I don't know why anyone would go out and have a poll going, would you eat chicken and have beer with the president? What maniac would go, no, I'm not going to go to the White House for a barbecue? I would have went to Nixon's White House.
I think I would rather have a beer with the president, because you know all hell could break loose then. And then it is just a party after that.
Oh, so you had your own answer, no matter what this poll was. I'd go to Joseph Stalin's to have beer and chicken. I don't care.
John Kerry, I could just see them, like, sitting around the patio having wine.
Well, that's the problem with him. It looks like if you're with John Kerry, you're going to know what napkin to use. And if you're with President Bush, you know that, the flame's going to be coming up in his face, his sleeve's going to be on fire, he's going to fall down and chip a tooth.
Now, also according to this Quinnipiac poll, most would want Bush to run their family business.
Is this a Gwyneth Paltrow poll?
No, Quinnipiac.
Why do they have such stupid... What business do you own that the president's going to quit and come over your house and start working for you?
Even if it's a baseball team? And they were evenly split on who they'd want to teach their kids.
Neither one of these guys are multimillionaires. They're not going to teach. Call up Gwyneth Paltrow and tell her that this is the stupidest poll I've ever heard of.
Quinnipiac.
Or whatever. I call him Quinnifer. We're going to take a break here. It's the fastest hour on radio. Ron and Fez Show.